All right, guys. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? I don't know why the dog is barking. Can you hear the dog barking?
Yeah, I can hear it. We'll drown that dog out.
Hang on.
Well, not actually drown the dog out. But.
Go ahead. Keep talking. We're live.
Hey, we're live. So the first time Pastor and I are going to kick off a live stream for the Paul Begley podcast. We're actually streaming on both channels when we're doing this today. So we appreciate you guys so much for joining us. Today it's March 31st, and we're doing our first ever live stream for the Paul Begley podcast right here on both channels. Today we're going to talk about the news, ministry updates. Pastor's been gone out of the country for about a whole month, right? Pastor, you've been gone for about a whole month out of the country.
Yeah, out of the month. And then when I got home, I turned right around, went to Birmingham, Alabama.
And just got back from that too.
Got back last night. I'm so burnt out and exhausted. It's unbelievable.
So I haven't.
Everybody, I got Paul Begley Jr. here. And we got some huge news. Don't we, Paul?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of things, but I was hoping that, Pastor, you could give myself and the audience some guidance on a lot of things that I'm super confused about.
Oh, my. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so we'll get into that. So we're going to talk a little Mideast action.
Somebody's saying what's breaking. We're going to get to it, Halloween Freak. Is that your name? Halloween Freak? What? Okay, we're going to get to it. Hang on. What now?
Yeah, so yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the Iranian issue, the price of oil and gas, which is ridiculous here in Washington State. We may even get into a little bit of sports, but I was curious to hear a lot about Pastor from your India trip, because you and I haven't really even talked since you've been back. You've been so busy.
I know. It was incredible. I mean, and we've posted a lot of little. If you go to the shorts, you'll see a lot of great snippets. 3, 4 minute, 2 minute snippets of what went on. But we preached in 5 different locations. One event was 12,000 people. One was 5,000. Another one was around 4, and then the last 2 were around 2 and 3,000 each. I think they were. So, and then we finished up by going and preaching at a church of a couple hundred people. This was an incredible, 22,000 people. We fed all of them. Each crusade, we fed all the people while setting up all the tents and everything. So, I mean, everything taken care of by the supporters of this ministry. The funds that you guys sent help us set up 5 crusades and feed 22,000 people.
Wow.
And all the tents set up and all the PA equipment and building stages. And I mean, this is an incredible feat. I mean, right. I didn't even know if we'd do it. I was afraid we couldn't do it, but we did. And each one was about 3 or 4 hours apart driving. So they were all in the villages. I mean, they were all like in the mountains. They were in the jungle of Odisha. So it's not a populated area. I mean, people had to walk for miles or ride a scooter for miles or ride in the back of a dump truck. Literally. Crazy. And they can't. That many people showing up is just insane.
Yeah. Well, I was curious though, what all did you guys have to eat, Pastor? Because I know you were super excited about getting the curry.
Yeah, a lot of curry, man, a lot of curry. And what we did was what we prepared for the people. We also ate as well, and that was rice, cooked rice with goat curry stew on top. Okay. Sometimes we had chicken curry on top, and one place we had beef in India. We did. Now that was a village.
Yeah, I didn't think that was the thing.
That's not a thing. No, but we were in a village area that was 95% Christian, and it was about 2,000 people. And so they made beef, and they weren't afraid to do it because they had the massive majority in that area. There's, so 2,000 people were there, and we had beef curry.
Right.
And they also served mushrooms in curry. Okay.
Oh.
Which was the best mushrooms I've ever eaten in my life. I'm going to be honest with you. The best ever. Now, the people, when you can imagine setting 5,000 people down on the ground with a little paper plate. Used to be when I went there, it was banana leaves, but this time now they had we had little paper plates for them. And they dump the rice on there, and then they pour the curry and the meat. And that's another thing. We had meat for all these people. They don't get that. I mean, usually it's rice and curry stew with no meat in it. Okay.
Right.
So this was big time. They were like, what? They're serving, goat? Really?
Right.
We get meat? So, and they all sit on the ground and they eat with their hands. Okay. That's the custom there. Now, they did give us silverware. They had like a little card table for me and Heidi and Israel Hall and like the pastor, like Sammy or maybe a couple other pastors. And we sat at a table with silverware.
Okay.
Because they knew us Americans are just, we're soft.
Way soft.
And they said they tried not to spice it as much, but they had to spice it or the people we're feeding wouldn't have liked it.
Right.
So it was hot, man. But trust me,
you can't have Ohio Midwest curry if you're in India.
No, this was the real deal, and you had to. But when you're over there that long and you're eating every meal you're eating, that you start to get more and more accustomed to it. And I tell you right now, I love it. Now that I spent that time all there and kept eating that type of food, I literally love it. And
well, that's one of the big things that my family all agree on is we eat curry all the time. We eat curry at least once a week here, so we always go find different places around here. But
that's cool. But that's kind of the food. That's the food end of it. Drink water, only bottled water. I didn't drink any water from a tap. I did not want to get deathly ill. So, we all stayed healthy. None of us got sick.
Yeah, that's great. How was the music? Was Israel able to integrate with the people there and
a
few different musicians play with them?
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal. I don't know if we could play that while we're on here, but like one little segment of it.
I have to go find out how that teed up over there. But
okay, but anyway, you can look at it, guys. If you just go to the shorts, you'll see where Israel is such a professional. He walks up on stage with a saxophone. There's these praise and worship guys that are on pianos. I mean, not pianos, like keyboards and drums and stuff.
Yeah.
And they start playing. He's listening. Now all of a sudden he just breaks in, and he, as a saxophone, he can weave in and out and enhance what they're already doing. And he just they couldn't speak the same language. They have no idea what the song is, but it didn't matter. Yeah. He gets in the right key and he hears the beat and the flow, and next thing you know, he's doing that Kenny G thing.
Yeah.
And they loved it, and the place went. I mean, everywhere he did that, the crowd went wild because it was so powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not speaking the same language, but they're speaking the same, musical language.
Yeah, musically. Yeah. And I could tell the guys that were on there, like, they were like, whoa, this is different. This is new.
Yeah.
They were liking it because it was flowing. It was really amazing.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
And my last question for you about the India trip, though, Pastor, was, did you guys keep a record or count for salvations that happened?
Impossible. There were so many. Impossible. Yeah. I mean, I could safely say somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 people.
Wow.
Out of 22,000. And a lot of people got touched. I mean, we physically had to, me, Heidi, and Israel each had to just go into different areas and start praying for people and laying hands and praying. So many thronging us that, each service, we would pray for hundreds apiece.
Wow.
Yeah. And who knows how many of those folks got healed, where we're waiting on reports, emails, and reports from these different pastors. because we have 330 pastors, and we had about 100 of them that we got to see during this campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Because we bought them all white shirts and pants, so that when they show up at these crusades, we know who our pastors are. They stand out.
Yeah.
We met about 100 of them out of the 330 we have. And so we'll wait for a report of healings and miracles and things that could have happened. So we'll wait.
Wow.
But salvations were 4,000 to 5,000 people easily.
And I mean, I know that you've probably mentioned this to the audience before, Pastor, but can you remind me again? So the India, as far as contributions from not only the ministry here, but even before we started with the YouTube channel together, all the way back to Papaw.
Yeah.
You've been supporting the India missions for 30, 40 years now?
I have been for 30 years. And
Yeah.
then if you talk about my mom and dad before that, then, since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
That's when I first put my pennies in and gave it to this exact same ministry. It was under Solomon Rout. Now he's died, him and his wife, they've died, and Sammy's taken over. So, but my mom and dad have been supporting India for 54 years.
Wow.
And I have since 1997 when I went to India the first time.
Yeah. So, I mean, what an amazing thing just to see the growth of that. And then for you and Israel and Mom Heidi to go over there and actually see the fruits of what's been happening. Not just from the dedication from, Nanny and Papaw and yourself and Heidi, but from the whole ministry and everybody's giving to it and feeding the people protein every meal. That's just, I mean, what a great thing to see.
Yeah.
Hear about.
And churches too. I mean, we're building churches over there, and I got to see 3 churches that we've completed in India, and I went to one that is going to be is a cathedral type. I mean, most of them are small churches, seat maybe 200. They sit on the floor. It's a concrete floor and a tin roof, which is and brick. Okay, nice. That's a nice church. But I mean, we got one that is a cathedral. I mean, it's gonna hold about 800, and that one's half completed right now. And I'm gonna try to go back and dedicate that one.
Yeah.
So it's, building churches, supporting pastors, supporting crusades like this, all of these things. Is all been going on all these years. It's really amazing to see the exponential growth of all this.
Wow. Amen. Praise God. Praise God, Pastor. This is what I wanted to ask you. Just shifting gears here. I know a lot of people have questions about this. I've had questions about this since we started. The Iranian conflict and the quote unquote not war that the U.S. and Israel are having over there. For me, it's very difficult to see which side is true and what's not, because there's so much AI involved. This is the weirdest coverage of a war and global conflict that I've ever seen. I can't tell who's saying the right thing. There's so much propaganda from all 3 sides of it. What are we supposed to take from that, Pastor?
Well, this is a great point you're bringing up. This is the first ever propaganda war.
Whole thing.
I mean, there's always propaganda in war. Okay, Hitler was the expert at it. But it's not just propaganda coming from one side. Every war, there is the coverage of the war by the 2 different warring factions always are skewed in the direction that both sides are wanting to portray to their constituents, to their citizens. So that's always happened. But we've never had a situation, and we have Vietnam War, which was the first war fought on television. Okay, but this is a war that that they show us on television, but we're not sure that what we see is real or AI generated. I mean,
Right.
it could be that yes, there's this something's taking place. There's bombing going on, and so they could create AI generated scenes of what they say is happening, and so they just they put it up there like a movie, and here it is.
Yeah. And but the general public everywhere is so far removed from where that would actually happen that are you supposed to believe it or not believe it? It's like, unless you're an eyewitness to something like this, it's very hard at this point for myself to be convinced of most anything that I see because fortunately I'm so far removed from all of this conflict. But then
Yeah,
you have when we first started the attacks over there, you would have every day a press briefing from either Secretary of War or President Trump that would come on and boast about pretty much all of the great work that we're doing. Uh, y- am I supposed to believe that? I should, right? But I always have I'm always second guessing pretty much anything that I hear that comes out of the government at this point, which is
right.
unfortunate.
I think what you're right about what we were hearing in the first part of it, and even today there was a press conference today, not a press conference, but it was a briefing by the Pentagon,
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth and Raising Kane, and they gave us a briefing. They gave us their perspective of how things are going, the morale of the troops, and all that.
Yeah.
I think that there is a certain percentage of what they're saying when they say things are going great. We're knocking out their Navy. We're knocking out their Air Force. Yeah, I think that it's true that we are devastating their Navy and their Air Force. Have we completely destroyed every ship, every submarine, every drone, no.
No.
Maybe we knocked out 70% of it,
Mhm.
but they're still firing rockets. Okay. So no, they are still shooting rockets at Israel, and it's not just Iran firing at Israel. They fired, they were able to get rockets off and get through the Patriot missile system and the THAAD
Mhm.
defense missile system in 11 different countries, hitting our U.S. military bases, U.S. embassies, consulates, oil refineries of different nations. This ain't like they're devastated. You can't tell me we've wiped them out now. No,
Yeah.
you're ahead. I'll buy that you've got the lead. But I am not going to say you've knocked everything out and they're completely decimated because they're still firing missiles. And
Yeah. You can't just declare victory, 48 hours later and you're still getting bases attacked.
you
Like
can't say the war's over in 48 hours and then 48 days later saying it's going to be another 4 weeks.
you're right.
So let's just be honest. If the game ain't over, maybe we got a good lead. Let's say we're up 25 points, 10 minutes to go in the game. Should win this thing. Probably going to win it. But it ain't over. And we got to finish. And we're not done. And
Right.
just be honest about that.
Right.
I mean, you don't really need to stretch it because we haven't lost that many troops. It is a phenomenal how we're able to do that without losing a lot of lives.
Right.
But are we going to go in? I mean, 3,500 Marines showed up. 10,000 more soldiers are on the way. There's, I don't know how many warships are setting in all of the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf, the Caspian Sea, the Indian Ocean. I mean, do you ever see a map of how many?
Yeah, the whole thing's surrounded. Pretty much.
Okay.
The whole thing's
So
surrounded.
let's just be honest that it's a tougher deal than we thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were entrenched for 47 years and preparing for this hour. They are not going away quietly into the night. Yeah, we've killed most of their top brass, but guess what? They got guys that just keep coming. All right. And their mentality is they'll die. They don't care to die. They don't care for everybody in the whole country to die if they have to. They are an apocalyptic mentality.
Right.
And so just know that they just don't go quietly into the night.
No, and it's not going to. Yeah, I mean, you would think from the start when all I forgot even the number of the top brass that were killed to start with, and then pretty much the first and second line of successors that we thought was probably going to rise up were also killed. That
Yes.
doesn't, just because you do that, it's not going to stop the ideology of the country, right? It's the
Oh no.
same. It's almost the same sort of strategy. Well, not strategy. It's almost the same sort of thing that happened in Afghanistan and Iraq. Global war on terrorism that's not, there's no objectives in that. That's an ideological war that just
Exactly.
continues forever.
I think that and it's yet to be seen how President Trump will handle this. But if he's going to stick to his campaign promise of no more endless wars, when you can't go in and change the ideology of Iran, you can forget it. Okay.
Right.
And I know that most of the people there don't want to be under this radical Shia Sharia law mentality. They don't.
Right.
But you can't go in there and make and fix that. We tried that in Iraq. We tried that in Afghanistan. The Russians tried it in Afghanistan. It's never going to happen. But what he could do is decapitate their ability to make nuclear weapons, set them back with their intercontinental ballistic missiles, killer drones, and all of that, and set them back 5, 6, maybe 10 years, and get out of there, knowing that they're going to make they will make a comeback 10 years from now. But that's it. We're not going to try to have no endless war.
No,
eliminate the immediate threat, which obviously they have toward Israel, and cripple that, wipe that out. In that, if that takes 4 more weeks, fine. If it takes 6 more weeks, fine. Just tell us that's how you're going to end it. And if he'll do that, then the people, the American public, will basically sit back and say, okay, that's a better strategy than what the endless war on terror that George Bush did and was carried over into Obama and carried on over and over and over,
I mean, well, I think that's what we started with too, though, which that was one of the things that I was proud about President Trump, and then also
hang on, I got to get rid of these kids.
What's going on in here? We got a dog fight. Pastor's got a dog fight over. I'm looking up, so I wanted to get this right though, because there were distinct military objectives when we went in there, which was, from my perspective, that was the only thing, honestly, that I was proud about. Pastor, do you remember those? I was just talking about when we started. The main thing that I was proud about from President Trump and Secretary Hedgestaff was, for this objective, they actually had a clear outline for military objectives, what they wanted to accomplish, which wasn't a regime change, wasn't endless war, and wasn't supposed to be boots on the ground. At this point, I think the boots on the ground are mostly to secure the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, I think, and so that, for
I don't
that,
know if I'm right or not.
No, you're right. It is whatever special ops are going to use and or Marines are going to use is to just secure the Straits of Hormuz. And that's why Trump wants the United Kingdom and France and Germany, and he wants everybody to help out on that. Okay. But his plan is not to put boots on the ground in Iran. And I'm proud of that. As long as he sticks to that, I'm proud of that. That's a better strategy. And then when you think you've pretty well beat it down, then just say we're done. Okay. If you guys raise your head up again, we'll smack it again. And we're done. And I think I'm praying that will still be the conclusion to this. I'm praying that and hoping and praying that. So that's where we're at. Okay.
But definitely, for sure, this past weekend, the price of gasoline, I'm sure everybody is seeing. In Washington, it's always expensive. It was hard for me to find anything under $5. So I don't understand that either. The West Coast thing with it, but
it's about $4.25 here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you have to realize it was $2.85 6 weeks ago. So there has definitely been Iran has been able to accomplish the attack on the oil industry to to cause the price of gasoline and diesel to explode. And that's one of their objectives. And they're trying to that's the pressure they're putting back on the Trump administration. So someone's saying it's $4.19 in Florence, Arizona. Another one says it's $3.54 in Texas, which that makes sense. Texas, that's where the oil wells are. So it's going to be cheaper around Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, where most of the oil is. You guys in Washington are obviously pay more. And California, because of this got to be shipped to them, and Gavin Newsom's taxes, they're over $6.50. It's outrageous. It's insanity.
I thought it was close to $8. That's what I was hearing.
Well, it's probably on its way there. Here's the thing. Why doesn't Gavin Newsom say, okay, due to the war and the price fluctuation, we're canceling all taxes on the gas for the next 30 days?
You think Gavin Newsom would ever say cancel taxes?
Nope. It's not a tax the Democrat has never seen they didn't like. Yeah. So no kings.
So while all of that is going on, Pastor, I think it was this past weekend, actually, I was driving through my tiny little town, and actually there were more protesters there than I've seen in most places. And I'm looking at it, and my wife's like, what in the world's going on here? I'm like, I have never seen a political demonstration where I live at anyway. I don't live in Seattle, but I've never seen anything over there. There's probably a little village of 450 people, and the protesters were probably around 200 right in the middle of my little town here. But this is it's downtown Seattle, I guess. So they're back. The paid protesters are back, Pastor.
Yeah, they're back. The paid protesters. That was enough right there. So yeah, I mean, again, you know what? If there was going to be a protest, can I just throw this out there?
Yeah,
that I would think maybe would be a legitimate reason is called term limits, please. Because we don't have a king. The presidents, they come, they go, 4 years, 8 years. Okay. All right. And they have limited powers. Yes, they can do certain things, and executive orders are getting out of control. But at the end of the day, they still are kind of. But the Congress, I mean, these senators and Congress, members of Congress, with no term limits, we got people sitting in there 40 and 50 years. And they come in worth $100,000 net worth, and they leave worth $400 million, or like Ilhan Omar, she's now worth $35 million. Bernie Sanders is worth $60 million. Elizabeth Warren's worth $75 million. And these are the same people, and every one of the Republicans, every one of them, okay? Everybody. There are no term limits, so it's not about you. It's about the kingdom they're building.
Yeah.
That would make more sense on a protest. Stop. But see, here's the problem. These people who have no term limits, they're the ones that are helping fund the paid actors that are out there. Okay. They're part of that whole machine. Oh my God. Please. You know what I'm saying?
So, would you like J.D. Vance to be the president?
No,
then?
I would not.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you like to be the president?
Kamala Harris right now, but she didn't win. But
Can I point out something that we say no kings and no authoritarianism, but Kamala Harris, no one voted for her.
Yes, they did. Half the country voted for her. So let's not go there.
No one was voted for her to be the nominee.
Yes, they did.
Isn't that what authoritarian?
You're going down the wrong road right now with me. I wouldn't go any further.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to talk to you anymore. That's what it means.
I just think it's ironic that no one voted for her to be the nominee. They just selected her like a king gets selected, right?
But keep it to yourself. Okay. Bye. Have a good day.
Well, I mean,
no kings, Pastor. No.
Kamala Harris never won a primary and got to be VP with 1% in the poll. And then she got nominated without ever running, never getting voted for in one primary. I mean, the second time around. And the question's right. If there was going to be a queen,
Right.
pre-selected queen, it would have been Kamala Harris. I mean, she completely bypassed the entire electoral system. I have to agree with that. But he's not going to discuss that. The system's broken because we don't have term limits in Congress.
Oops, sorry.
System's broken. Anyway, what can I say?
Well, with all of that distraction, no King's protest, and then the Iranian conflict, there's some stories that have been lost. Okay, so last time that we did a PaulCast, Pastor, this one's not even that big of a story, but it was a big story for some reason. The Nancy Guthrie, whatever happened with that, or did that just disappear?
Well, it's kind of going away. It's been 2 months now, and it's kind of going away as far as the coverage. It's a horrible story.
Right.
What happened to this 84-year-old woman that just disappeared off without a trace? And you're right about that. Is how does that get lost in translation? I mean, don't you got to keep going back and saying, look, we're still looking, we're still trying to find her. We know something very nefarious took place.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder, was she abducted? Was this part of the drug cartels? She wasn't far from the Mexican border.
Yeah.
And maybe they're afraid to even, maybe the DEA or the FBI or the CIA are on this, and they're slowly closing in, and they have to be quiet. I don't know, or are we just completely lost, or was there something else going on here to send a message to NBC or to media? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously the Iranian story is bigger than everything else.
Right.
But this story just fell off the table. Like, whatever happened? Was there any closure? Does anybody know? Because this was one of the biggest things they were talking about: crypto wallets and ransom postings from Savannah every other day. We just all forgot about it and moved on. Nancy's gone.
I think so. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think that's where the media, the life cycle of the media is not real long. It's very short.
72 hours.
And usually at the max. And in this case, we have an ongoing thing where someone's disappeared and we don't know where they're at. We don't know who took her or why. What's the motivation? I keep asking, well, what was the motivation? And these fake ransom notes.
Yeah.
And people ran with that stuff. And I'm with you. We can't just forget about it?
I mean, I know it's not the biggest story in the world, but it's like, it's like a reoccurring theme of things. Like, hey, let's spin this story, and then, there's something bigger, so we can just drop that. I mean, is it just all about ratings, or did we actually care about Nancy Guthrie? Did anybody?
Well, I care about her, and I know you do. A lot of our viewers out there do, but and I think a lot of the country does. What worries me was that supposed to be a distraction from the Epstein file?
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, I'm just saying, this would be the most horrific thing in the world, but if this woman was kidnapped and killed by the powers that be to get people to get off the Epstein system and move on. I'm not saying that's what happened. Or was it to help also not let, I mean, you can't distract from the war. It's too big what's happening right now in the Middle East. But it could have been, or did they just use it for that to kind of get away from it? Not saying that they had anything nefarious to do with it. Sometimes the media just waits for anything to happen that they can blow up and use to distract from something else. Oh, by the way, the whole time that Nancy Guthrie's been gone, the government's been closed.
Yeah.
Was that to help sway people away from the shutting down of the government? So you didn't keep asking the question? I mean, after a while, the TSA didn't get paid. Finally, those people started just quitting. They had to go get a job somewhere else.
Well,
now
yeah. You can't just.
now that they got paid finally, do we ever go back to Nancy or is?
But no, I don't know. I think it's well because there's so many stories that got lost with the Iranian war too. So Nancy Guthrie, obviously, Epstein, which is there's always a cover up story over top of that. They don't want you to know anything about it or read it.
No.
That's why we always bring it up because it's still there. There's still stuff in there, and there's still nobody getting arrested. Not in America, anyway. But.
Not one person. Yeah, in UK they are. I mean, look, they arrested the prince of the monarchy, Prince Andrew.
Yeah, but they put him on Exile Royalty Island or something.
I know. Nothing's going to go down there, but they did more than we did.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, but maybe the biggest thing ever, Pastor, aliens. That story got buried.
Disclosure of aliens.
Well, yeah, when Obama came out and said, "Yeah, they're real," and then that kind of they forced Trump's hand to say, "All right, Secretary Hedgepeth we're gonna disclose everything and come out with a file," and then Iran happens, and then we all forgot about aliens that we've been tracking. There you go. That we've been tracking for 70, 80 years, and everybody's been called a kook for talking about it, and now it's pretty much accepted. It's pretty much mainstream accepted that aliens are real at this point.
Well, when President Barack Obama said aliens are real,
right,
and then he pauses. Not that I've seen any. He said I haven't, but so he says they're real, and disclosure. On our webinar we did. Alien, it's called Alien Disclosure, and you can get a ticket for it right now. And you can go watch this interview with Stephen Bassett. And actually, you can even watch the Stephen Bassett interview on the Paul Begley podcast channel. It's on the podcast channel, isn't it?
Yeah, that one's on there, and I think also the Samuel Chung is on there too.
Okay,
so
we got two of them for free. You can watch them at Paul Begley podcast. And by the way, we are live at Paul Begley podcast. And at Paul Begley YouTube channel. So we're simulcasting in both of these locations right now. Right?
Yes.
And,
yeah, first time for us doing it. But
yeah. And so you might want to go to the Paul Begley podcast channel because there's a lot of unbelievably great interviews there, great shows there that we do there that we don't put here. It's a total different channel, different concept. But today we decided let's just do both at the same time. So I'm going to highly recommend, guys, that you go to Paul Begley podcast and subscribe to that channel. Pamela Ritchie says, love the podcast. She loves that channel. That's awesome.
Well, but on that note, while you are subscribing, you can watch that last interview with Stephen Bassett. Now that is on, the Alien Disclosure webinar. But you can watch it for free on the Paul Begley podcast channel. Yeah. That's one of the best ones that we've done.
Ever.
And the day that we recorded that, though, we had to hold it back because we recorded that early for the webinar. But the day that we recorded it, 48 hours later is when the Obama aliens are real thing. So. It was hard for us to hold it back because we had the interview right there.
We had the interview. And also Stephen Bassett in that interview said that July 8th of 2026, he said, President Trump is going to announce to the world that aliens are real, that we're not alone. They're here. Now, he honestly to God believes that, and that is the 70th anniversary of Roswell. So he really, truly believes that it's going to happen that day. Okay. Obama, though, jumps the gun and says, aliens are real. And Trump says, you shouldn't have done that. That's classified. Which, what does that mean? And then J.D. Vance, my fourth cousin, J.D. Vance, be your fifth cousin. J.D. Vance said, hey, look, aliens are demons. Okay, so now he's taken that path,
right?
Which is a path that I also take. So maybe he was watching my podcast or something. I'm not sure.
Maybe, probably.
And he said, hey, look, they're demons. They're real and they're demons. Okay, so that's okay. So what is Trump going to come out and say the government fully knows? Are they going to come out and say, yes, they're real? Yes, we have retrieved some of their crashed crafts. Yes, we have some of their bodies, non-biologics, which is what these guys have said in the congressional hearings, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, Luis Elizondo. Yeah, the non-human biology. I forgot Luis Elizondo's book, Imminent. There's like I think there's 5 or 6 different categories outlined for what they would classify for either a UAP, UFO. It's a great book. Go read that if you haven't yet. Imminent. But the other weird thing that's happening is all of these top level people that have been working around Project Blue Book and Roswell and astrophysicists, they're all getting kidnapped and killed or disappearing, or it's
Well,
almost
Hey,
the most the timing of it though, with Trump saying, let's go ahead and disclose all of this, and then you start having these people that are working around near and close to that are just disappearing, vanishing.
I'm blown away by this general, this lieutenant colonel. What's his name?
I'm trying to remember his name.
Kent.
Maybe somebody in the chat remembers.
Grassland. No, that's not right. What was his name? Anyway, this guy just disappears, leaves his wallet, leaves his phone, leaves and never tells his wife. His wife leaves to go to the doctor. She comes back an hour later. This guy just disappears like Nancy Guthrie.
Right. Then, Major General William Neal McCasland.
There
you go.
Where's he at? A lieutenant colonel doesn't just go hiking and disappear. And the lady, the officer who worked with him on these at Wrights-Patterson Air Force Base. This is known, Wrights-Patterson. Mm-hmm. That's in Ohio. That's known for UFO, UAP, classified investigation, and I mean big time. That we know that, right? Highly, highly, highly classified. She went missing too. She gone.
Yeah.
And there's other.
I'm trying to find her name. All right, so full disclosure here, alien disclosure. Google's AI is helping me answer this question. Okay, so Major General William McCasland, disappeared on February 27th, 2026, after leaving Albuquerque, New Mexico home. He left his phone, his wallet, his prescription glasses, and wearable devices. I'm guessing that's a watch, but was believed to be carrying a .38 caliber revolver. FBI and local authorities have launched a search using drones, helicopters, K9 units in the Sandia Mountains area. A silver alert was issued due to reported medical issues and a, quote, mental fog.
But his wife is saying he had no mental issues, no fog, no Alzheimer's, no dementia. She's like adamant that that's insane.
Right.
Okay. But a silver alert was issued because the sheriff said, well, I did because I was told that he had some dementia and brain fog.
Sorry, I heard.
Well, did he or did he not? I mean, are you serious? And how in the world can they not find this guy? You're telling me they can't find this guy? Somebody took this guy. They did not want him to tell what he knew. Absolutely. And that's part of the mystique.
There's some other people that there's been other political leaders that have disappeared as well. So let's see, the vanishing generals in China. No, that's not what we want. I can't remember the lady's name. I thought there was a top level astrophysicist as well that ended up.
She worked with him. She worked with him.
Okay.
And she's been missing now for 9 months. So she's the first one that went missing. Okay. Then he went missing. They both worked together on these same projects. She was an astrophysicist and involved in the special metals that were needed for astro weaponry.
Right. Or whatever they were working on. Classified stuff that we were not allowed.
She's gone. He's gone. Are you serious? Something's up.
So did they get abducted or did they get kidnapped by our government? I mean, it's really down to that, right?
Yeah. Well, if I have to vote,
I mean, right.
I'm saying that they got abducted by the government. If I have a vote, I'm going to say the government did this. And the question is why? Is it because if they tell you what they really know, it's a game changer? Meaning could be either way. It could go either way. What if they said, look, there's no such thing as aliens, guys, but we have been communicating with Lucifer and fallen angels. Or what if they say, guys, we got crafts, we got dead little grays, we got reptilians, we got weird stuff you and me want to know, but we cloned a lot of that. What if that's it?
Yeah.
I mean, we do not know, but obviously these guys knew, and they couldn't take a chance on them. They did not trust them. They were afraid they were going to blow the whistle, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's obvious too, but I mean, you can't just make claims.
I can't. No. I'm just saying what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So,
wow. I wanted to shift gears, Pastor, and jump over.
Okay. Did the government take them away to add to the mystique of the alien disclosure that the aliens took them? The aliens are trying to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And to build the hype on the revelation of the revealing that's coming soon, disclosure. I don't know. Anyway, we can shift gears on that. There's a lot of potential things here.
Yeah. There's a lot of potential things. And there have been for 70, 80 years and probably longer than that. I wanted to shift gears to a concerning story. I'm sure both you and I share that same sentiment. Tiger Woods. Let me just show this report here by Fox News, though, and then we can have some commentary on it.
The Martin County Jail, he had to spend 8 hours behind bars after being arrested and charged with DUI. The sheriff's office says Woods was traveling at a high rate of speed when his SUV collided with another car. That caused Woods' vehicle to roll over onto the driver's side. Here is his new mugshot. You can see his eyes looking a little red and glazed over.
Our DUI investigators came to the scene here, and Mr. Woods did exemplify signs of impairment. They did several tests on him. Of course, he did explain the injuries and the surgeries that he had. We did take that into account. But they did do some in-depth roadside tests. Again, he was lethargic on scene, but that we believe was because of what he was intoxicated on.
Now, officers say Woods blew 000 for alcohol, meaning he was not drinking, but refused to give a urine sample. So police believe he was under some influence of medication or drugs. And this is not the first time Woods has been involved in a serious crash. Back in 2021, he was badly hurt in a single car rollover wreck in California. In 2017, he was arrested for DUI after police found him asleep behind the wheel. And in 2009, Woods crashed his SUV into a fire hydrant and tree outside his Florida home. And just this week, Woods had returned to competitive action at the TGL finals, and many were wondering if he'd make a comeback at Augusta. Well, now Woods faces these charges, driving under the influence, property damage.
All right. No, he's not going to make a comeback. And unfortunately, guys, I think it's over. Tiger Woods needs some serious mental health help. Unfortunately, I think it's painfully obvious that Tiger Woods also probably needs to be checked into a rehab facility at this point. What a horrible story to keep hearing about from Tiger Woods too, is pretty much his downfall from the pinnacle, the top of sports, pretty much being named up there with the greats, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan. Yeah, just it's very unfortunate to kind of see the downfall after his father passed away, I believe in 2006. and then Tiger had that the scandal with I can't even remember what year that was, but we had the scandal with all of the women, and they ended up getting a divorce. Just a horrible fall from grace for Tiger. There's another take that I wanted to show on here too, if I can get to it, but I don't know, Pastor. It's really sad to kind of watch his downfall, but he obviously needs some help.
Yeah.
One of the big things, though, that I think are even more so past his health is why is this guy still driving? Who allows him to drive still? I mean, other than himself.
Apparently he is absolutely refusing to anybody to drive him around, because then there's accountability. Whatever he's involved in, wherever he goes, he doesn't want anybody. He don't want any accountability of whatever he may be doing. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. I'm just saying he just doesn't want to be accountable. Now, I'm going to say that he gets out of this latest crash. If I was his attorney, I think I could beat this pretty easy. Number one, he blew 000. He wasn't drinking. Number two, we all know he's had major surgeries and he's on painkillers. Okay. And number three, so before you go automatically saying he's under the influence of something, his lawyer's going to say, yeah, obviously he's taking pain medication, different things. This had nothing to do with, did not contribute at all to the accident, had nothing to do with it. And, for this man to be crucified over this is just wrong, Your Honor. I mean, there's no proof. Where's the proof? Well, he refused to take the urine.
Well,
Yeah. But
I'm going to push back on that, though.
Okay.
But I mean, because there's a pattern now, right? Yes. He blew 000. That happened last time too, and probably the time before. There's been what, 4 incidents now of Tiger crashing a vehicle. Yeah. And I mean, we all know about his extensive. I think he said 7 back surgeries. Just last year, he had a disc replaced, and it's probably not totally his fault, but I definitely would say he's probably addicted to opioids.
I would think that you're right on that. I think that there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And that could make you impaired as a driver, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, especially with some of the signs and symptoms that you look at them when they're showing them with mug shots and some of the holding cell footage from the last time this happened as well. Just kind of dazed and confused, lethargic. I almost thought that he might have been using ketamine treatments at this point, because he almost looks tranquilized at this point.
And it might be. It could be what he was, we don't know, but something. Obviously, as you said, the pattern, time after time after time after time. And the fact that he doesn't want to have any accountability. He don't want anybody to help manage him. This is a multi-millionaire. Driving his own car.
I think the best advice for Tiger really is to take a step back from golf. If he wants to be with golf, it's work with his son, but he really needs to take care of himself. He needs to check himself into a rehab facility. The court needs to take his license away forever. And then he needs to just work on himself for a little while. And then once he's back, join the senior tour.
Yeah. I think and that may be what comes out of this court case. It may come out that that's the judge orders something like that. So I pray for Tiger. I love watching Tiger play golf. I know you do too. Nobody has to see this with him or anyone else that has a drug problem. None of us want to see this happening to anyone. This is a very sad story in American history, I think.
But all I know is this. You had this problem in 2017 when they found you asleep in your car on the side of the road. You had this problem in 2021 when you crashed into a tree and tumbled over and almost got yourself killed. You had this issue again last Friday. All 3 times you're inebriated and you're behind the wheel of a car. Now, I think it's safe to say, yo, Tiger Woods, you can afford car service. I think it's safe to assume the man can afford car service. Okay. What the hell are you doing getting behind the wheel of a car? Most of us would be in jail. Remember the second incident in 2021, they didn't charge him. They didn't make him take an alcohol, breathalyzer test. They didn't test his blood, any of that stuff. He was hospitalized. They left him alone. So he's got, in a lot of people's eyes in America, he's gotten away with a lot, and they're sick and tired of it. But all I know is this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's right, but I think we need to be a little bit more compassionate, as you were just showing there, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, he needs a little more compassion. That's Stephen A. Smith, but there needs to be a little more compassion. But at the same time, there definitely needs to be some accountability. So we need to pray for Tiger. No doubt about that.
For sure. Baseball's back, Pastor, and also the Final Four is here.
Okay. Let's go with the Final Four real quick first, because
right.
Duke got beat, so you got UConn in there, and UConn is going to play Michigan. Is that right? I got that right?
UConn's going to play Illinois.
Oh, Illinois. Okay, let me just say, Illinois they're a good team, and I knew they were a good team, but they are surprisingly playing extremely well. It's not normal for Illinois to wind up in a Final Four. They've always they're always good, and sometimes they hadn't even been in the Sweet 16 in quite a while. This is a great run for them. I'm actually having dinner tonight. Me and Heidi are with a guy that is a huge Illinois. He'll be wearing his Illinois shirt. I'm going to get the whole 9 yards tonight, okay? Tommy's going to be wearing it. I already know, okay? And then one of our pastors here at the Freedom Fellowship, AC Cordell, huge Michigan fan. Okay, huge. And Michigan is playing lights out basketball right now. Lights out.
I mean, I think Michigan probably should have won the Big Ten, but Purdue was just hot in the tournament. But Michigan's a better team.
Yeah, Michigan's a better team, but Purdue got hot at the end, and that run is over. But Michigan is hot. They killed Tennessee. They murdered them, which, oh, by the way, was pretty bad because Pastor Melvin Whittington is from Tennessee. So he and AC Cordell went head-to-head with each other, and Michigan crushed them. Okay, so Pastor Melvin's not in too good a mood about that. But having said all that, UConn could be Arizona. Wait a minute. Arizona might be the best team in the whole country, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've pretty much ran through everybody they've played. So, but UConn here. Well, so this is the play of the tournament so far, and actually, to my credit, because I was yelling in the living room when this was happening, this is the only 10 seconds of the tournament that my wife has watched, and I said, no, you have to watch this. She's like, why? I was like, just watch.
Seconds to go. Got to cut and run through the ball. They'll do better than this guy. Get it into Boozer, back for Sarr, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds. Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good with point 3. UConn goes in front.
What a great play for the tournament.
Is it? I don't even know. It might have been the greatest play ever in NCAA history to steal the ball and hit a 40-footer in the final second. I mean, that might have been the greatest play in NCAA history. I mean, are you serious?
I'm just going to mute it, but we can play because the problem here. So my daughter's watching it too because she's starting to get into basketball. The game's over. Before this, there was a foul, and I mean, pretty much the game's over. All you have to do is hold on to the ball and not make a turnover. Okay, so here you go.
Now, you and I both played high school basketball. There's no way right here. You do not need to throw.
There's a good.
You do not need to throw the ball. You just keep throwing.
Right here. Now, right here is the problem.
Why did he do this?
This guy is wide open, but you don't need to make this pass. You could just. I don't know why you pick your dribble up here.
I don't either. He wanted to get a slam
And
dunk
then
to win.
you just throw it. And then this guy, he hits that all day long in practice. So,
you and I both played high school basketball, Drew. There's no way in the world I'm throwing that ball down the court. I'm dribbling that ball away from people, trying to run out the clock. And if I get fouled, then I'm going to shoot free throws in the game.
I'm not throwing the ball.
Throwing the ball. I think the guy threw the ball because he was trying to throw it down to his guys so they could do a slam dunk to end the game. Okay. He saw him wide open and he thought, I'm just going to finish this off. And that is not how you do that. And that's why you don't do that. And there's a 1 in 1,000 chance for that to happen. But so I'm going to say UConn could be the team of destiny now. Okay. They may be the team of destiny.
I hope not, because of this coach right here with this.
I know. He's a problem.
I can't stand this coach. Look at this. Look at this guy. Really?
I know. I'm with you on that.
But yeah, you might be right, Pastor. They might. They've won 2 in the last 4, I think. So
yeah, I'm just wondering. But anyway, we'll see. So that's why we're talking a little bit of NCAA there, because we both played high school basketball, and it's a lot of fun. And that was an incredible game and insane. So yeah, baseball's back. You said.
Baseball's back. Just getting started.
I've got another appointment I got to get to, so I better jump on this. Baseball is back, and how's your Padres doing?
We only won 1 game. I think we're 1-3, 1-4, 1-3. I think.
Okay, it's early. How about the Cubs? How they doing?
I don't know. I gave up on the Cubs when they won the World Series, Master.
No, I'm a Cub fan. Okay, no, I'm a Cub fan.
Oh no, that's
losers. And when they finally won the World Series, you got to love the Cubs. But the Dodgers should be the best team in baseball again this year.
Ugh.
Really, the Yankees
Cubs are 2-2.
Cubs are 2-2. Okay, early start. Look, I'm just wondering if Showtime, if he's going to win the Cy Young, Shohei, will he win the home run derby and the Cy Young in the same season? Could he? Yes. Could he? Yes. Will he? Well, odds are no. But could he? Yes. That's how good this guy is. That is so scary. It's beyond Babe Ruth legends, because he can pitch way better than Babe Ruth. And he can hit. He really is. The Japan, they're just absolutely, they're so proud of this guy. It's off the charts.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I know
they were selling
Dodgers, but this guy is good.
I do. Yeah. Well, they were selling his merchandise when he was still playing for the Angels, right? Yeah. They were selling his merchandise in the Tokyo Tower in Japan. It's all just Shohei. They don't care about the team. It's just him.
Right. Miss CD loves the White Sox in Chicago. Okay.
White Sox. Huh? Okay.
She lives in Chicago. Chicago. And they've had 2 horrible years. I think they got some young talent. If they can go 500 this year, then they're on their way back. Okay.
Hey, well, they're also 1-3. So there you go.
Well, it's early. It's
a better start than they've been doing the last couple of years.
Last 2 years, they'd have been 0-4. So they got 1 win. They're going to come on. Don't count them out.
Yeah.
So, but baseball's back, and it's still America's pastime in a way. I know NFL football has really become the big sport of America now, but baseball is still a traditional thing. Take the family. I remember taking my sons to the baseball games.
Oh yeah.
And I remember when my dad took me to my first Chicago White Sox baseball game. Hank Aaron was playing for the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm going to tell you this. Hank Aaron was the designated hitter his final season with the Milwaukee Brewers. The home run just unbelievable. What an incredible individual he was. And so he was playing the White Sox that night. My dad said, "We're going." And this is Hank Aaron's final game in Chicago. And I was 14 years old. I believe I was 13 or 14. I had my mitt with me from where I play Little League, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brought my mitt in case I could catch a foul ball. We're there early, so I'm down right on the edge of the, we sat in a nosebleed, but I'm down there by the field waiting in the game during batting practice, and Hank Aaron is standing there. And I just keep hollering, "Hank, come over, Hank." And he'd turn, he would look at me and just keep talking. "Hank, please. I'm begging him, right? And finally he just like, okay. And he walks over. And as he's walking over, the people saw him coming, man. They almost shoved me over the ledge. The pressure.
Yeah.
But he took my mitt and he signed his name and he gave it back to me. It was my first Major League Baseball game, and Hank Aaron signed my mitt.
That's great. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and as a kid, that's why Dad took me. That's why my daddy took me to see the game, and I can talk about that now, 50 years later.
Yeah,
that I met Hank Aaron and he signed my mitt. So, I just enjoy it, and it's fun. Obviously, it's just a game. But for families to go out to the ballpark, it's. I remember I went with you and your wife and the granddaughter. I think it was just Carson. I don't know if Maddie was with us or not that night.
No, she wasn't alive.
Yeah, so it was just you and your wife and your daughter and me and Heidi. We went to a Padre game. It was just so much fun to do.
Yeah,
just a family.
Yeah, my kids love it. We haven't been to a Mariners game yet over here, but we'll have to go over there.
Yeah, now that you're in Seattle, you got to go to the Mariners game. Yeah.
Well, last night Carson had her first softball game of the season and ended in a tie, but she got 2 hits and 2 RBIs and made a pop fly catch. So.
Oh wow! Well, she's good, guys. I'll tell you how good she is. I know I'm a proud grandfather, but I went and watched her play. She's the only girl on the Little League boys baseball team. And she was one of the better hitters. Okay. I mean, she can play, but so she's playing fast pitch baseball, or she's playing with the boys in baseball, and she could field, she could throw, she could run like a deer, and she could hit. Now she's playing with the girls softball. I knew she's going to be good because she really is, looks like she's going to be a very incredible athlete.
Yeah, she's good. She likes to play third base, but I think coach, he's a pretty good coach. I think he was a high school coach last year. He's been a high school coach for a while, but I think he just wanted to coach youth softball. Oh, because his daughter's on the team, that's why. So, but he moved Carson over to shortstop.
So that's I'm running out of time.
It's okay. I was just hoping you could close us out with a prayer or some encouragement.
I definitely want to say thank you to everybody. We're going into the Passover, okay? And it starts tomorrow. And of course, there's 7 blessings with the Passover. Obviously, we'd love for you to participate in your Passover offering to receive these 7 blessings from the Lord. But I want to thank all of you for your support on the India trip. Incredible. It was incredible, and you all were incredible. Your support, your financial support, so that we could go and hold 5 crusades in 5 different locations in the poorest part of the world. And to see 22,000 people come and to see 4,000 or 5,000 of them give their life to Christ, what you did, we could not have done at all. It just wouldn't have happened. So I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I want to pray for all of you. And turn it back over to Paul Jr. But I just want to say, Lord, thank you for this amazing online church. Thank you for the Paul Begley podcast followers, as well as those that are here on the main channel. We want to thank you, Lord, for their faith, for their belief in Jesus Christ, and for their love for their fellow man. I want to thank them, Lord, for putting up with me, with all of my craziness that I do. But they know that my heart is in the right place, that no matter what I'm involved in and talking about, I always want to bring it back to the most important thing, Lord, and that is that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose from the dead and he lives forever and he's coming back. And so we're starting Passover tomorrow, but this Friday is Good Friday. We remember Christ giving his life on the cross. And on Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, Easter Sunday, is the day that Christ rose from the dead. And we celebrate that great, great weekend we're going to have. So, Lord, thank you for blessing our people. If anybody's sick, heal them, Lord. If anybody is struggling with anything out there, God, please touch them, bless them, forgive us of our sins, Lord, and let us walk in your love and your joy. And we ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Paul, glad we did another podcast.
Take care, everybody. Thanks, Pastor. Appreciate it. Love you guys.
Thank you. God bless, guys. We love you.